So if you're planning for the hair transplant, definitely the one question will come in your mind that which technique is the best for me, like FUE technique or FUT technique. So I'm giving kind of a fair comparison between both techniques. See, the first and most important part, you should know that this is just kind of a harvesting part. The result is not depending on the FUT technique or FUE technique. It depends on the doctor how he is trained for which technique, and how the team is trained for which technique. But yes, a kind of a comparison I'm doing for you, so you will have a kind of a little bit knowledge about that. So in FUT technique, basically we are taking kind of a graft in a strip from the back area, and then we are separating the graft from the strip and we are implanting on the frontal area of the recipient area, and we will have a kind of a linear scar on the back, obviously in the FUT technique. While in FUE technique we are taking the graft one by one from the back area by a small punch, and these grafts are implanted on the frontal area. So these are the kind of FUE technique and FUT technique. Now we are comparing both. So first and most important part is called invasiveness. So FUT technique is a little bit more invasive because we are going a little bit deep in the skin till the fat level, and we are taking all the the thickness of the skin, and then we are separating. Any kind of invasiveness is there, so the chances of little bit complications will be there in the FUT technique, like mild bleeding will be there, and the healing part will also more in compared to the FUE. And the downtime, yes, the healing part little bit more in the FUT, means roughly 2 weeks will be there in the FUT, while 5 to 7 days maximum in the FUE technique. And chances of complications, as I told, the bleeding part, and yes, if anything is there on the deep, yes, the chances of secondary infection like bacterial infections are more in the FUT technique. Second is that the linear scar. So in FUT technique, that after the taking the strip, that will leave a kind of linear scar on the back of your scalp, and that will be persist for lifelong. The people, they don't want linear scar, and when compared with the FUE, that will leave kind of dotted scar that is quite cosmetically accepted in compared to the linear scar. Then we compare about the how many grafts we can take from the FUT and FUE. So that totally depend on your donor area. If your donor area is very lax and good donor area, definitely FUT technique is a little bit more superior. And if you have kind of a broader donor area, in that condition FUE may be the more superior for you. So that totally depend on the doctor and the donor area. And if you talk about timing part, so the surgical time is little bit less in the FUT technique because the strip can be taken in within half an hour, while in the FUE technique we can take the graft one by one, so that will take more time. And result wise, that depends on the so many factors. So FUT and FUE, as I told you, both are kind of a harvesting methods. So result depends on how your donor area is, how your grafts are, second, how your doctor is doing, and how the doctor's team is trained for, and obviously implantation, the angulations, how you are giving the natural hairline. So that result depends on so many factors. This is kind of a comparison between the FUT and FUE. And one thing I want to tell you that now FUE is like more popular in compared to the FUT. Why? Because of less invasiveness, and because of there's no scar on the back area, and yes, if it's less invasive, definitely the downtime or the healing part will be less, and that way the FUE is more popular in compared to the FUT. So this is kind of comparison between the FUT and FUE. Thank you.